Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvabhignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Yenakshara Samamnayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakarnam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthav Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste everyone. Nice to see all of you. So I will share my screen with you. So the warm-up we were doing is thanks to all those people who wrote their name and city in the chat. It's nice to see people from all over joining. I'm in Pittsburgh today, so a little bit of a different background. So we're just completing the chart on page 10 of the workbook. So let's do that together just as a reminder of what we did last time. But actually, before we do that, let's just remember the flow, right? This book is called Basic Foundations of Sanskrit. So we always have to remember the basic foundations of Sanskrit, okay? So first, you can go along with me. I can't hear you, all of you on mute, so you can say it with me, okay? First, we start with Vakyam, right? Vakyam is a sentence is made up of padani. Padam or padani, right? Words. Sentence is made up of words. There's only two types of padani. One is called verb, tingantam padam, and then the second is called subantam padam, noun. Within the tingantam padam, there's dhatuhu and ting pratyayaha, right? There's a root and a verbal suffix. Within the subantam padam, there's pratipadikam. Pratipadikam plus sup pratyayaha. Okay? So this is like we're going to be like, this is our japa. We're just going to repeat this until we all remember and we all get it strong in our mind, right? So there's no mistake there, okay? So each have a root and each have a suffix. So what we were looking at last time was we're specifically looking at tingantam padam, right? We're looking at tingantam padam and we were looking at dhatus and then we were looking at ting pratyaya. Now we've arrived. Okay, ting pratyaya can indicate these two things: person, purushaha, and number, vachana. So that's why we're talking about person, right? So if you look down at the screen, or you look at the screen, right, it says purushaha. Now, where is purusha in the chart? Under tingantam padam, under ting pratyayaha. Within ting pratyaya, that's where we are. Okay, so this is the GPS. We got to know where we are. We're located, okay? We always got to know where we are so we know where we're going. Okay, so let's do this together. So in Sanskritam, right, there's three persons, just like in English. So let me write with you all, right? So we have, this is in your textbook, page 26, or you can do it in your workbook with me on page 10. So we have third person, right? Which is called Prathama Purushaha. Okay? And remember, it is a little bit tricky, but third person in Sanskrit is called Prathama Purushaha. Okay? Now, who is this talking about? It's talking about other people. So examples are like Rama, we can say Devadatta, we can say he, she, it. It can really be anything. We can draw a cat if we want to, right? This is my drawing of a cat. It's very hard with the pen that I'm using, so don't judge me for that. Okay. So Prathama Purusha, we're referring to other people. So when we want to use a verb to talk about, let's say, Rama runs, right? We say Ramaha Davati, right? So we're using our verb in third person to talk about Rama running, not me or you. We're talking about Rama, someone else, other person. Then we have second person. This is called Madhyama. Let's give it a little hat. Madhyama. And then Purusha. Transliteration is on page 26 of your white book. So Madhyama Purusha, this is talking about the listener. This is always, I joke that this is the victim that you're telling your Sanskritam to. The victim is Madhyama Purusha. They're stuck in the middle. That's why they're called Madhyama, right? They're in the middle. Madhyama can mean middle also, right? And so an example for this is you or you all, right? Okay. Now, first person, in your chat, can you tell me what the Sanskrit word for first person is? Uttamah Purushastvanyaha Paramatmit. Okay, so chapter 15 is called Purushottama. Okay, so we're going to call Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purushaha. Right? The Vedanta part of this is that I, the speaker, and the ultimate being, Uttama Purusha. Okay, so this is the example is I or we. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. We're using verbs. The thing pratyaya can denote a person, a purushaha. So when I'm talking about Rama, I use third person. When I'm talking about you, I'll use the second person. When I'm talking about I or me, I'm using Uttama Purusha, first person. Okay, just shorthand for this is we use Roman numerals. So just note that we use Roman numerals to indicate for third, second, and first. Okay, so you can note that down. That's just something that I do, and I will learn to do that. Okay. So now what we're doing is we're going to continue with after this. Now, the second thing it can indicate is a vachanam, a number, right? So not only can there be one Rama, but there can be multiple Ramas. Or we can have two Ramas. So we're going to talk about this. So we left off. So we're talking about there's three numbers as described in this chart. Now, this in your book is page 26 in your book, or you can follow along page 10 in your workbook. Okay, so page 10 in your workbook or page 26 in your white book, book 1. So page 10 in your blue book, page 26 in your white book. Okay, so now we know the persons, right? We just went over this. So there's 3 persons. There's Pratama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, and Uttama Purusha. Now we can have singular, dual, and plural. So singular is we call eka vachanam. Oh, let me try to fit it. Okay, eka vachanam. So repeat after me. Eka vachanam. Eka vachanam. Okay, so we know eka means one. So singular, right? This is, so when we want to talk about each of these persons in singular, we're going to say eka vachanam. So an example of pratama purusha, third person, eka vachanam would be he, she, it, cat, dog, etc. Okay? Right? I'm talking about a third, someone else, and there's only ekaki. There's only one. Now, dual, this is unique to Sanskritam language, right? We don't have this in our colloquial English. We don't have this in English language. We don't even have this in Hindi and Gujarati, really. Dual is when we're referring to two, right? So when we're referring to two, we call that dvi. Hold on, let me make it a little bit better. So dva, dvi, and then vachanam. Dvi vachanam. So dvi, right? Do in Hindi, right? You can remember two, dual, even dual, the word, it sounds like dvi, right? There's some sandhi involved. U and A become va. In dual, U and A together, because there's sandhi and they become va. So dvi, dvi vachanam. Okay, so repeat after me. Dvi vachanam. Okay. So an example would be third person dual. We would have they, two people. Or we can say two apples. Right? Because I'm talking about something else and there's only two of them. Plural, it's bahu vachanam. Make sure this little line at the end of the word is called a virama. Okay? That little line is important. That's a virama. What that virama does is it cuts off the last akara. So it's not bahuvachanama. It's bahuvachanam, and we need that virama to cut off that last letter. Okay, if that doesn't make sense, let me know in the chat. I can explain virama. Okay, bahuvachanam. Not bahu, not like bahubali. This is bahu, okay? Bahu, like a lot. There's a lot, bahu. There's plural, multiple. Okay, so example would be, can you just type in an example of third person, pratama purusha bahuvachanam? Example of that? It can be literally anything. Yeah, good. Okay, so 3 sadhakas: cats, dogs, apples, cars. Any of these things. So let's write a few. So cars, apples, whatever you want. There's multiple, but it's not the same as 2 apples. There's more than 2 apples. Okay, 3 plus 3G. Okay, 3G, 4G is this side. All right, so second person singular, you, right? Because we're talking about, so madhyama purusha, ekavachanam, example is you, right? Second person and only one, you. Dual is you too. And second person plural is you all, or as my Texas people will say, is y'all. Okay, I'm getting rid of that. My teacher will hit me if she saw that. You all, or y'all. Right? So you too, you all. Believe it or not, we're doing some serious Sanskrit homework right now, okay? So, but it's supposed to be enjoyable. So first person, now I'm talking about Uttama Purusha, the number one right here, right? And singular is just I, right? I or me. Dual, we too. And the first person plural is we all. You can say we all, you can just say we, right? I'm just making it differentiated specifically. Really, we would just use we for both, but just to differentiate, we're putting these all, right? Okay, so here's your little quiz. Let's make up a sentence. So you all ran a marathon. You all ran a marathon. What is the Purusha and what is the Vachanam? You all ran a marathon. Yeah, you can use Roman numerals for the Purusha. So here's, okay, so yeah, these are correct. The answers that are coming in. Keep them coming. All right, so you all ran a marathon, okay? So you all, what I'm doing is I'm remembering you is Madhyama Purusha, right? That's the listener. And I'm saying y'all, you all. So there's more than 2 of them. There's plural. So I'm going to go in this chart. I'm going to go Madhyama Purusha, Bahuvachanam. And I give a little, right? They're running a marathon. You all are running a marathon. Okay, they're moving. Okay, so you all running a marathon. Now, how I would write this in shorthand, if you want to type easier on the chat, you can say Roman numeral 2 and then the number 3. So we differentiate just for shorthand. We put the person in Roman numerals and we do the number in these regular numerals, in the, I guess, Latin numerals. I don't know. Correct me. So Arabic I don't even know. Okay, so Roman numerals and then these regular numbers up here. Okay, so we would say second 3, or Madhyama Purusha Bahuvachan. Okay, that's a good enough quiz. Let's keep moving. I think we got it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep moving. So I'm gonna close this out. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so now I'm on page 12 of your workbook. Page 12 of your workbook, your blue book. And I'm on page 33, page 33 of your white book, okay? 12 and 33. Page 12 of your workbook, page 33 of your white book, okay, your book 1. Now you can write with me in your workbook. So now we're gonna talk about present tense and how to actually apply what we've been learning, okay? We don't need to know all this fancy vocabulary at the top here quite yet, okay? So we don't need to know all this quite yet, what this all means. Don't worry about that. We're gonna talk about all this later. Now, right, we're gonna build that same chart. So if I have, right, so I have Purusha, Purushaha, so this is Shakara, sorry about that. Hopefully you can see that. And this is Vachanam. Okay, so I have then Purusha, there's 3, right? I have third person, I have Pratama Purusha, I have Madhyama Purusha, and I have Uttama Purusha. I have, say it with me, Eka Vachanam, remember 1, Eka Vachanam. So I'm just going to put a number 1 just for my sake, but you can write Eka Vachanam full out there. Then remember, dual, so we think of Dvi, say it with me, Dvi Vachanam. And we have Bahu Vachanam, okay? Bahu Vachanam. Not Bahu, it's Bahu. Bahu Vachanam, okay? So there's singular, dual, plural. I'm gonna start dropping the English words, okay? So if you don't know what I'm talking about sometime and I'm not translating some of these things, just remind me. I'm not a scary person, clearly. I'm not your traditional Sanskrit teacher. Okay, all right. So now we already went over this chart. We know examples in English, but now what is the ting pratyaya in present tense that correlates with that? Okay, so now we're gonna remember, I'm talking about verbs. In verb, there's dhatu and ting pratyaya. Ting pratyaya is what we're talking about right now, okay? So in present tense, my third person singular is ti. My third person dual, taha. My third person plural is anti. Okay, so repeat after me. Ti, taha, anti. Okay, some thoda josh. Ti, taha, anti. Okay, ti, taha, anti. All right, so when I want to make a verb and I want to talk about Rama runs, then I'm going to use third person singular, right? There's only one Rama, so I'm going to choose ti. If I want to say multiple Ramas are running the marathon, then I'm talking about multiple, more than 3. So anti, etc., etc. Okay, let's keep going. Now, madhyama purushaha, ekavachanam, I'm going to add the suffix si. Okay, again, my Spanish people, my Texas people, I'm not speaking Spanish. This is Sanskrit si. Madhyama purusha, ekavachanam, taha. Okay, this is different than the one above. This is ta, mahaprana, ta. There should be some air coming out. You can put your hand in front of your mouth, say taha, taha, ta, ta. Okay? It's okay if you have a smelly mouth. You got to really get it out there. Taha. Okay, so second person, and then taha, and then ta. Just regular ta. So this has what we call a visarga. These 2 dots right here are what we call a visarga. Visarga. I'm going to write visarga on top. A visarga is the 2 dots, and what it does is it emphasizes the vowel before it. Right? So I have aha. If I have I and then if I have I and then visarga, if I have e and then visarga, I would be ihi. If I have u then visarga, then it'll be uhu. Okay, so the visarga sound matches the sound before it. If that makes sense. Okay, if you need help, let's I'll spend some more time with visarga later on, okay? Well, I'm making too many promises. I don't know if I'll keep. Okay, so si, taha, ta. These are mahaprana, okay? These 2 are both mahaprana. Okay, so if I want to give an example for si, I would say, you are. Tvam bhavasi. You run. Tvam dhavasi. You draw. Right? We can just keep making verbs like that. You use that si, etc., etc. Okay, now let's go to first person singular. Right? This one's pretty easy to remember. Okay, I'm talking about I. And so another word for I is me. Okay, another word for I is me. I or me. Okay, so you'll never forget that one now. First person singular, this guy, me. Me, maha. Oh, sorry, vaha, maha. Oh my gosh. Vaha and then maha. Okay, so repeat after me. Me, vaha, maha. Okay, 2 more times. Me, vaha, maha. One more time. Vi, me, vaha, maha. Okay, this is great. Okay, so we have 5 more minutes. So driving it home. This is what our chart looks like finally once we clean it up. Ti taha anti, si taha ta, mi vaha maha. Okay, so while some people are writing, I have two times the words. I have one called a tingantam padam. Tingantam padam is made up of dhatuhu plus ting pratyaya. Now, one thing we got to remember from last time is when I do that equation of dhatuhu plus ting pratyaya, okay, let me clean this up, sorry. We have to remember one change takes place. When the dhatu gets married, dhatu gets a new status of angam. Yeah, angam. Okay. People in the chat, good work. Angam. Okay. So when I add that dhatu gets married, the dhatu gets a new status. It goes from bachelor to angam. Okay. Angam. So here, if we look at our chart, remember, here in the second column, I have dhatu. Let me, in the second column, I have dhatu just by itself. And then the fourth column, I have anga, the change after it gets married, right? After it gets added. So let's do the verb bhu down here. You see bhu down at the bottom of the screen? Bhu sattayam. Okay, bhu is the dhatu, means to be, and the angam, when I add that thing, it becomes bhava. It becomes bhava. Right? Bhu becomes bhava. Bhu bhava. Okay, so now this is page 12. You're still on page 12. Now we don't need to know all this stuff right now. Okay, let's just skip this. We can come back to this a different time. We'll come back to all this stuff. Okay, we said bhu, angam is bhava, so you can put bhu bhava, right? Let's add some to this. I mean, ideally you'll be writing it out, but this is kind of speed class right now. So you can go back in your notes and change that. Now, we're not going to do this whole chart right now, but look, what we've already learned is, see the cheat sheet on the right, in the top right? Probably this side from on your screen. So that cheat sheet on the top right. Now we just have to do some little bit of math, okay? Bhava plus third person singular ti. We got a first verb of bhavati. Look at that. Bhava, anga, plus ti is bhavati. Bhava plus taha is, yeah, just you all are geniuses. Bhavataha. Okay, let's skip this one. We'll come back to third three. Let's go to second person singular. Bhava plus si. Bhava si. Bhava plus taha. Bhavataha. Ooh, this is good. Good work. Bhavataha. And then bhava plus ta. Bhavata. Now, first person, we're going to leave all, okay, so we're going to leave this one and we're going to leave all of these. You can leave all of these because they're a little bit slightly more complex than the simple addition. Okay, and our time is up. So we got through most of the chart. In just a few classes, I think this is our 4th class today, we're already making forms of verbs. But not only making forms of verbs, but we got that whole GPS in our brain of vocabulary. That's pretty solid, okay? So we'll finish there. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. I'm going to turn off my camera. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat and I'll still be here. We'll take a 5-minute break and come back at 8:11. If that was too fast or if there's any part that you would like me to go over next time, you can also let me know.